Okay, I'm going to be showing you how to create objects on the form without this. Basically, sometimes you might not know what objects you'll need at what time, and you know, you just might not know, and so you need to make it work out what it needs to appear. I mean, I know you could drag things in and make them invisible, but that's not very neat, and it uses more resources. Anyway, so let's say if we want to make a button, you make it global. You need to make it global because you don't want it to like kind of delete after you come out of the sub. So dim button one as we'll do button for now, and then inside the load you do button one is equal to new button, and that creates an object of button. Then you just type controls.add button, and that will actually create a button in the corner of the screen. So then all you need to do is do like button, I'm not going to do everything, dot text is equal to sup button one dot location is equal to new point, let's say 50 and then button one dot size is equal to new size, like I don't know, 80, so it's gonna be a square button, and that should work. There we are. I'll get into events a bit later on. So let's say if you wanted to let's do a panel, dim PNL, just to show you something else as panel. This is not repetitive, don't worry. Panel is equal to new panel, controls dot add panel. I'm just going to set the border style just so you can see it. Just make it really big. So this should be like right side. Okay, yeah, it's there. Now, if basically all what I want to show is if you wanted to add a button inside a panel, you do the panel name dot controls dot add. So yeah, that's how you do it. I'll prove it now. I've gone all the effort in. So yeah, and then the new location point will be 50-50 from the start of that panel. So yeah. Let's get rid of the panel now then, and okay, so the button's still there, it should be at the normal location. Let's say if you wanted to make, you don't know how many buttons you're gonna have, so let's say, let's call this buttons array as button. Let's just comment out this code. So let's say if you found out you wanted to get 3 buttons, so for I is equal to 0 to 2, because that's a total of 3, you'd say redim preserve buttons I buttons I is equal to new button, controls dot add buttons I, and quickly let's do buttons I dot location is equal to new point I times by 100, and then just say 0. So it's gonna make loads of buttons in the top row like that. So that's how you do multiple objects in a nice, neat fashion. This means you can now reference controls with a numerical value. You could do this before. You could drag an object on and then declare a reference to it in an array, but this is nice too. So yeah, it's nice and neat. Let's say if you wanted to have a let's say if you wanted to make a sub that gets called by it. So you do sub buttons pressed. You don't actually need any things there because I'll show you a different way of doing it. So what you now do, if you wanted to make this sub get called from the buttons being pressed, here you say add handler buttons I. So if you only want one button, you just do it like 0, let's say. But I'll do it for all. I comma address of, and then you just say buttons pressed. So basically you're saying oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the event. Click. There we go. So yeah, you got to say what the event is, and that will call this sub. Now, from last episode, we looked at sender and e. If you don't care about the if you don't want to look at the sender or e, this will work fine. If you want it, you just type in sender as you say button, I guess, and then e as event args, and that will work too. So now I can actually say message box dot show sender dot text. I'll set the text in a second. Here you want to set the text buttons I dot text is equal to I plus 1. Yeah. That'll work. So 1, 2, 3, that gives you 1, this gives you 3, and surprisingly enough, this gives you 2.